things serve the will and the mind of God. You see, you meddling little
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you another of my creature feature reviews. Today I'm taking a look at the 1985 werewolf creature feature, Silver Bullet. The film is based on a Stephen King novel and it's directed by Daniel Attias. It stars Gary Busey, Everett McGill, Corey Haim and Megan Follows. Now the film focuses on Corey Haim's character Marty and his sister Jane, played by Megan Follows. They are living in a fairly small American town. It's a pretty idyllic summer, and then the evenings, the nights turn very sinister when people start turning up being brutally murdered. The town obviously is very, very concerned. Corey Haim's character Marty is he's a cripple, he's in a wheelchair. He has got his uncle, played by Gary Busey, Uncle Red, who has got real affection for him. He tries to look after him the best he can. He builds him a really cool, wheelchair stroke motorbike called Silver Bullet. And while out one night firing off some fireworks that his uncle gave him, he is attacked by a werewolf, and it becomes clear to him that this werewolf is clearly the one doing all the killing. Nobody will believe him but his sister. He has to convince his uncle that this is the case and that this werewolf will very soon be coming for them. Right, what are my thoughts on Silver Bullet? This has always been one of my favourite werewolf films. I think it's one that gets overlooked quite a lot, if I'm being honest. And that's... I don't know, I think werewolf films, certainly at the time, they were very brutal in many ways and very serious. I mean, obviously, other than American Werewolf in London, that was actually, a bit of a dark comedy as well going on with it. But this one had almost a youthful appearance to it, because of the of Corey Haim in the lead here, sort of thing. It almost had like a Spielbergian feel to it, this thing. So for me, it always feels like it kind of got overlooked, this one. But in actual fact, we've got a really cool werewolf film here. It's quite a few years since I've seen this one, so I was really looking forward to revisiting it. I've always, remember enjoying this every time I watched this when I was younger, and that's still the case now. Rewatching it, I do think this is a very well made werewolf film with some really cool moments in it. It's got a good cast here. I like the fact that Corey Haim, they put him in a wheelchair to kind of give us the impression that this young man is very, very vulnerable, and I suppose he is in many ways, but he's also very resourceful and very courageous. And I thought Corey Haim did a fine job here as this character. Gary Busey, I mean, the guy's a legend, he was kind of at his peak at this time in his career, because he did Lethal Weapon a couple of years after this. He plays the role of the good uncle very, very well. And he's a big part of this film. Not a problem with him at all. And apparently he ad-libbed a lot of his lines on set as well, which they had to get permission from Stephen King from, and Stephen King was fine with it apparently. But what I like about this as well is that it kind of takes a different take to the whole werewolf lore, if you like, or how the werewolf films are usually approached, because the werewolf in this film doesn't eat its victims, it just kills them. And it appears to be targeting people, so it also appears that when the werewolf is in werewolf form, it is still conscious in regards to who it wants to target, sort of thing. You don't normally get that so much in werewolf films. Once the human becomes the werewolf, it's like it's in beast mode and it just kind of kills whoever it happens across. Whereas in this, they really do a good thing here and kind of put a different twist on the whole werewolf thing. I love the idea that, and if you don't want spoilers, if you've never seen this, guys, I'm not too worried about giving spoilers away for films this old. You've had plenty of time to see it, but I like the fact the whole storyline with it being like Everett McGill, the priest, and the whole bit in the film where the sister's going around the whole town seeing if someone's got like a damaged eye because Corey Haim fired a firework at it in its eye and hurt it. And then the reveal that it's actually the priest, it was done very, very well. And Everett McGill has always been fabulous at playing villains. And he plays a very, very good villain here. And the whole scene on the bridge when Corey Haim is setting off the fireworks that the uncle gives him, and he gets attacked by the werewolf, is very well done. And I remember that being very frightening to me as a kid. I thought they worked that really, really well. But I also really like the scene in the film where he is being chased in the car by Everett McGill's Reverend Lowe. And then he kind of corners him in that warehousey thing. And he's kind of confronting him as a human, giving him his reasonings behind doing what he's doing. And then you could see this real sinister side of him. So in actual fact, it becomes very clear at that point that the man is evil, never mind the werewolf sort of thing, and he's very happy to be doing what he's doing. It's not as if it would have been easier to kind of he became a priest because he wants to do right for all these horrible things he's done. No, basically it's a cover really for him to do what he wants to do, and I like that they don't kind of give him excuses. He is evil as a human, and the beast is just his other form. So I like the way they kind of do that here in the film. It's the director as well. I don't think the director actually made another film. I think he did a lot of TV stuff after this, which is a shame because I think he filmed some pretty tension-filled scenes here. As I said, the bridge scene's very good. The chase scene's very good. The scene at the end where they're being stalked by the werewolf outside the house, when they're ready to kind of take it out, is done very well. And I think overall, the effects for the werewolf are done well. There's a couple of dodgy moments, but you see some pretty cool transformation scenes. I think the animation on the werewolf's face is done very well, in my opinion. There are just a couple of times it looks a bit awkward and a bit dodgy. And Stephen King himself asked for the thing to kind of be made to look a bit plain and not huge and bulky and hulking like you tend to see in a lot of werewolf films. He wanted it a little bit more scaled back, plain looking but evil looking sort of thing. And I do think they kind of get that. And it's not a werewolf on its hind legs either. It's walking as a man sort of thing, which again, a lot of werewolf films don't focus on a lot. So yeah, I think this does the job very, very well. It's a really cool creature feature. It's a little bit of its time. There are a couple of dodgy moments here and there, but it's also a lot of fun as well to watch, to see heads being lobbed off left, right, and centre, and some cool scenes. I mean, because they don't show the werewolf as well too soon. You get to see the eyes here and there, and the shadow of it going behind trees and the growling, and they cleverly don't overshow the werewolf. And that, I think, helps the film, because sometimes a lot of horror films, they show things too early and then the surprise is gone, whereas this one doesn't. It kind of holds back the surprise for much of the film. So yeah, this is a really fun, cool, I think overlooked werewolf film from the 80s. So check it out if you've never seen it, and let me know your thoughts in the comments if you have already seen it, and I will of course be back with plenty more reviews on the channel very, very soon.